Hey beauties and gents, it's your girl Linnee. What was that? Hey beauties and gents, it's your girl Linnee and welcome to InnerBeautyOut. If you are here for the first time, your girl Linnee is here and this is the InnerBeautyOut platform where we dish out everything beauty as far as reviews, tutorials, and definitely inspirational things in terms of testimonials and lifestyle. So I wanted to come to you today because today we're going to be going through a new eyeshadow. I don't want to say an eyeshadow, but a new palette. And it's not your traditional palette only because it doesn't come in a form of a rectangular palette. It actually comes in the form of a stack. And if you are new as far as to this company, it's actually called Melt Cosmetics. And this is my actual first time trying out their products. This is their Babygirl stack. And it is very, very beautiful. It comes with 5 shades and a mirror. And basically, they are very warm toned, beautiful kind of like shades. We're going to go over each of the shades as far as swatches. And then I'm going to create a beautiful look for you guys. Now, I'm going to tell you my full-on honest opinion about this particular palette. I am not paid to review this at all. This was not sent to me for free. I purchased this with my own hard-earned money, and I'm actually going to put and list the details about this as well throughout the video, so you'll find out in terms of how much this bad boy costs. We're actually going to go into it right now, actually, to be quite honest. I wish I always pulled this up beforehand, but I don't. So the Babygirl stack again comes in 5 shades. It actually retails for $58 US. However, I did not purchase it for $58 US. I actually purchased this while I was at a makeup show earlier this year. So it was a little bit discounted. I want to say it was around the 40 range, which I did still think was kind of high priced, but still not that bad because I really wanted to try it for the first time. Anyway, this actual stack holds 5 shades, I said that already, right? This stack holds their warm tone shades. You can purchase their shadows individually, however, they are better purchased as a stack because they just kind of work together even in the same color family. What's cool about this particular stack is that they are magnetic, and so they kind of stick together on their own. So they will actually twist into each other. If you twist it in a different way, it may not attach itself, but I love the fact that this can do that. You can also slide them out if you wanted to. If you wanted to like display it that way. Hold on one moment. I'm going to try and get it together so you guys can have it without having to sacrifice losing any of these stacks, because these are sensitive. They are sensitive. So these are the stacks this way. They are magnetized, as you can see right now, but I'm super scared right now to really like get any closer or get any further or whatnot because I do not want any of them to fall. They are pretty sensitive as far as like the pigmentation of the actual shadow. It does come with a mirror. It does come with a mirror like any other eyeshadow palette, which is really, really cool. It's really different, but I don't think this is really that useful to really apply the eyeshadows because it's circular and it's pretty small. But we're going to go through each of the shades right now, so if you are interested in how this works out and really curious about what look I'm going to put together with this, stay tuned. Oh, it was recording, so please don't mind my creases in the name of Jesus. You know, we always talk about that. But anyway, we're going to go with the first shade that is in the stack. And it is the color Hopeless Romantic, and this is what it looks like. I am going to swatch that for you on the back of my hand just so that you can see that. So this is a nice iridescent kind of a shade. It has like gold and pink, like rose gold kind of tones to it. I feel like on camera it's kind of showing off more pink, but I feel like it is a bit of like a duochrome kind of a shift to it. It has like pink and gold depending on what lights you're under. So this is the shade Hopeless Romantic, as I mentioned. So this is what the back looks like. It has the name on it. Each shadow tells you that it has about 0.10 ounces each, or 3 grams of shadow in the pan. Again, this is Hopeless. Ooh, excuse me. Again, this is Hopeless Romantics. Just so that you can see how it's written. It's really cute. It has like slight glitter reflex to it. Next shade in the palette is called Scammon, and Scammon looks like this. It is a matte shade, and I'm going to swatch that for you as well. These colors are absolutely buildable and pigmented as ever, just so that you know. So even when you first swatch it out, boom, I'm just saying. You might have to build on the color just a little bit, but it is actually true to pan. So this is what Scammon looks like, and that's the name of it. That's the way it's written on the back. I'm just trying to get it as clear as possible. So this is the shade Scammon. Really, really nice. Next shade up on there is called Main Squeeze. So cute. I love the name. Main Squeeze looks like this. It's an orange shade. True orange shade. Very super bright. Again, it's another matte shade. It looks like this in the pan. And this is what it looks like against the back of my hand. The name again is called Main Squeeze. Really love this. Really love that. Next shade that we have is called Crush. And this is more of a satin shade. It is not a matte shade. It is not an iridescent flex kind of a situation. This is just your traditional satin. Looks like this in the pan. Alright, and as far as the color on my hand, this is Crush. Again, like I said, it's a satin. This reminds me of more of a coppery, like a burnt terracotta kind of a shade, but it has like a bit of like that pearlish kind of like sheen finish to it. Again, it really depends on what your lighting is, and so you'll be able to kind of get that shift that you're looking for, but it's really pretty. I feel like this color can actually go either way. This satin could go over the lid, or you could possibly work it into the crease. So if you're, you know, not afraid of using color, this would be a great shade to use or to play around with. And the last shade in the stack is called Breakup. Breakup is a matte shade as well, and it reminds me a lot of, it's interesting to see how these formulas turn when it's on a wet canvas. So it can oxidize. However, Breakup looks like this in the pan. I feel like you can tell where the magnetic pieces are because of like the fallout and like when it closes or whatnot. This is Breakup. As far as it being on my hand, this is the shade. It is a matte finish. However, if you are using this on a wet canvas, it will oxidize to go to a deeper shade. This is a true burnt orange, I would say, like a true burnt orange. It is really beautiful actually, and quite great on people of color. All these shades will show up on anyone of color. I feel like these colors are like super pigmented, in your face punch. I think this is great for the summertime, and I can't wait to jump right into it. So I'm going to show them all to you really quickly. I'm just going to wipe my hand, you know what I'm saying, so we can have like pure shots, you know, pure. It's like, no. I'm a mess. Alright, so yes, hunty, they're buttery, just so you know. Buttery. Butter. It tastes like butter. These stain a little bit, just so you know. Just a tad bit. Doesn't bother me. I just thought I'd share. So I have them all swatched on the back of my hand. As you can see here, the first one that I mentioned here is called Hopeless Romantics. And the second one is called Scammer. The third one is called Main Squeeze, that's the orange one. And the fourth one is called Crush. And the last one is called Breakup. Like, this color palette is absolutely beautiful. If you have not tried out Milk Cosmetics, you're going to be blown away. The pigmentation, like I mentioned, as you can see, is like in your face, just in your face bold. And I just love this color story, and I love the non-traditionalness of it not having, is that even a word? Non-traditionalness? I love that it's not traditional in terms of it not being in your typical rectangular rectangular palette. It is actually just in a stack form. Again, I'm so sorry that I keep looking up this way because I do have a new monitor and I'm still adjusting to looking at the actual lens. Just a quick disclaimer. But like I mentioned, these colors are absolutely stunning. The color story, and I just love the fact that this is not a traditional palette. However, there is some downsides to this, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't think it's anything... I don't personally think, I feel like Melt just tried to be like, girl, shut up. But I don't think that this is anything that, the things that I do have, like as far as the cons against this, will not stop me from repurchasing again. Because, do you see this? Like, do you see this? Like, who else in the, like, market right now is producing these? Who else is doing it? Who else is doing it? We got competitors. We got some competitors. We got like a couple of people. I'm not going to name, you know, brands for the sake of just brands because we know we're talking about Melt right now. But this is bomb. And for the amount of pigmentation and amount of product that you're getting, I feel like this is a great buy. So let's jump into the tutorial because my arm hurts. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, beauties and gents, let's get right into it. Don't mind my lovely, amazing dance skills right here. Alright, so the first shade right out of the Babygirl stack by Melt Cosmetics is Main Squeeze, and this is really like a pigmented red-orange type of shade. It is matte to capacity. It is freaking pigmented to capacity. And so we're just going to literally pop this in as our supposed transition color. So many people think transition colors have to be soft and very neutral. No, we're going in right for the punch. This is what's going to help the color to really, or the eyeshadow look to really stand out and pop. And so we're packing this on right in that crease section. And as you can see, Melt Cosmetics did not come to play. Like, the amount of pigmentation that is happening right now, the easy blendability of this like shadow, and it with as much pigment as it's packing is like amazing. So the next shade that we're going to be using is called Scammin', and this is more like a baby pink kind of a shade. It's super light, but it still packs a punch. I'm actually using this shade as our actual transition color just for the brow bone before it transitions into Main Squeeze. Now we're going in with the deepest color of the stack, which is called Breakup, and this shade is going to be packed on the outer as well as the inner portion of the eye. I felt that this was a great place to put this just to add definition to the eye and help the halo look to pop just a little bit more. So as you can see, it doesn't take much to pack on this color. It's bomb. Metro Boomin', as Shayla would say. Next, for the inner, well, not the inner, for the actual lid, we're going in with the star of the show, and it is called Hopeless Romantics. I actually begin using more of a fluffier brush, which is made out of squirrel hair, to just lay down the color, and then I wet my more synthetic blend brush, which is really like a watercolor brush I got from the art supply store, just to define the actual edges of the actual lid space and also to just pack on more color. I then go back in with Breakup just to blend out the inner and outer portion of the eye, just so that it like diffuses into each other and it's not so harsh. So since I'm clearly in approval of this look thus far, we're going to jump right into the next step, which is smoking out the bottom lash line, and I'm using the shade Breakup to do just that. I'm actually also using this flat definer detail brush by Sedona Lace because it's everything, and to basically bring a little bit pizzazz more to the lash line before we apply our lashes, I'm using the NYX Liquid Matte Liner. I absolutely love this liquid liner. It is bomb and the most affordable thing that you'll have in your makeup kit if you do not have a good liner. And then I'm going back in with that water brush just to kind of wing out the shadow, the shimmery portion of it. I just thought it would give this halo eyes just a little bit something more to look at than what it looks like right now. As far as making sure the cat eye-ish portion of the eye is more defined, I'm actually just tightlining just the inner portion of my eyes using the Makeup Forever pencil in Aqua XL black. And I'm also using this Makeup Forever artist brush to make my white portion of my eyes whiter. This is like more of a nude color, but I just think it really brings a little bit more as far as making the eyes stand out. And I'm using my favorite mascara. It's also super affordable. It's the Jordana Best Lash Extreme. Really love that. And I'm going back in to just smoke out the lash line again, just to make sure that it just is just blended and the eyes are as defined as possible. Now, to clean up underneath the eyes and brighten that highlighted area, I'm using Warm Light, which is more of a highlighting powder. It's not really adding too much, but it's definitely just adding some kind of brightness to the face. And then I'm going in with these two corally pink kind of like blushes by Makeup Forever. They're super great and so pigmented and soft. And to add a little bit more glow to the skin, I'm going with my favorite Color Girl friendly highlighter, and it is called Glow With It by MAC Cosmetics. It's part of their skin finish, no, extra dimension skin finish kind of highlighters. I really like that. And to kind of stick with the pink theme, I'm using the Smashbox. This is part of their limited edition rose petal highlighter, I believe, and I just kind of really put it on the high parts of the face. I kind of blend it in just to give me that rose gold kind of effect, and I actually pop it in the inner tear ducts also to kind of finish off the look. Like, hello, we got something going on, yes! And then I just pop on my lashes off camera, and then we're going to add Dark Night, which is this super beautiful, creamy, and comfortable lipstick by Mented. I have a whole new video that's coming up just around that. It's super great. You guys have to watch out for that one. And I just topped it off with NARS Velvet Lip Glide in the color Area. I really love this because it goes and works across everything. So here is the final look. I really do hope that you guys enjoy it and get into it. Just get into it. And now's the time we're going to go right into the review portion of this. But before we go in, I did find some more specs in regards to the melt stack. And one of them being that there are 2 shades that are vegan and there are 3 shades that are non-vegan. So for those who are particular about the different types of shadows that they're using, whether they're vegan or non-vegan, I just wanted to be up in front with you in regards to that. But as far as the vegan ones, it's Hopeless Romantics and Crush. So Hopeless Romantics, just to remind you, looked like this. It was the more iridescent two-tone kind of a shade. And then as far as Crush was the satiny shade. So those 2 are vegan, and then the remaining part of the palette is non-vegan. Just so if you didn't know, now you know. Again, this is my first time actually using Melt Cosmetics as far as any of their cosmetic products, to be quite honest. I have been eyeing them for quite some time, but I've never gotten the opportunity to actually work with their product. And so I'm so glad that today I got the chance to just really play around and be creative in that respect. Again, like I mentioned, with these shadows, I absolutely love how pigmented they are. I'm sure throughout the course of the tutorial that you can tell how pigmented it is. I did find with this shade, with a couple of the shades, I know they're very close in family, and so sometimes they can kind of muddy into each other, and not in a negative way, but muddy into each other in terms of like fusing together, where you not necessarily know which shade was the darkest shade, which shade was the orange shade, and which shade was the like peachy corally shade, as far as the matte shadows go, because I used pretty much, I feel like I used every shade in here except for Crush. Basically I used every shade in the stack except for Crush, only because Crush was like a satin shade. I could have used it in the tear duct, but I don't know why I didn't do it, but oh well. So I feel like a lot of the shades, to me, when I look back at it, reminds me of just the main shade, which is the copperish color. However, I'm absolutely in love with how this came out. To me, when I look at it at the pan, it looks rose gold, depending on the shift and depending on how you're looking at it, but I feel like it came off pink when it was layered on top of a deeper orange, which I thought was pretty cool. I love that I could make it pop a little bit more by wetting my brush. You can use it with a buffer brush, somewhat like this. I feel like these are really great to use because they are squirrel hair and they pick up a lot more pigment than your traditional goat hair. Or I felt like it was great to use it with a synthetic blend, with a synthetic brush. And I got this from the art supply. It's a watercolor brush, and I really love this when it comes to like playing with dual chromes, because it lays down the color really nicely. And they also make a great lip brush. If you have not tried it and you're not out there trying to spend money, that was a little pointer for you as far as that goes. So I love the packaging. I've mentioned that before. I think it's really cute that they include a mirror, although it's not necessary. I do think it's great because it serves a function to the palette, and if it wasn't there, maybe it would be kind of black, that it was black. I do think it's great that they put the mirror in there to give you that full palette feel, so to speak. So I do like that. I do love that I come with these. I get 5 shades, so technically if you really break this down and you're paying this $55, you know, you're paying about a little over $10 for an eyeshadow, which is not that bad when you think about it, given again how large and how much is in each pan. So it feels like, you know, you're getting your money's worth. Now, as far as the con, and this is the only con that I have with this particular palette or stack. I don't know if it stands true with all their stacks, but the fallout is very real. Like when I say, you know, you dip your brush in there and then I'll show you. So I went in with the orange initially before, and it literally takes little to nothing for kickback to be in here. And I'm going to zoom in so you can like really see if I can get to it. So like just, I don't know if you can see all of that, but it's a lot. And if you can see all of that, it's a lot. So this tells me, you know, one of 2 things. One thing is they really packed a lot of pigment into this pan. And second, it really speaks to the actual pigmentation within the pan. So I know, as you can see, product is falling out and falling everywhere. What can make this an issue is like sometimes you gotta really clean this out just to keep it like, you know, in its pristine stage. I don't find that there's fallout with the satin shade. I do find that there might be a little bit of a kickback with this one in terms of the glitter reflex. But it looks like it's a pressed pigment or pressed duochrome, but all of the matte shades has serious kickback. Now, again, this could be a con for a lot of people, and so that's why I want to put it out there and I list it under a con, because people really make a big deal about it, especially when it came to Anastasia Beverly Hills and their Subculture palette. You know, I picked it up and it was the same, but the colors, all the colors swatch beautifully on the hand, as you saw, as well as on the lid. So the fact that, you know, you have all this kickback, I'd rather see kickback and get the color payoff than see kickback and not see anything, and I'm sitting here like trying to diffuse or it becomes blotchy. Like, I didn't experience any of that. The actual powders were very finely milled. To my experience, I didn't find that they were hard to work with. Everything kind of blended in with each other. I do find that if your eyes might be wet with the matte shadows, that can maybe produce a little bit of a difficulty with blending out a little bit, but I don't think it's really that bad, because I felt like when I did it on my hand, after I wiped my hand down with a baby wipe and I went in to try to swatch, it oxidized the color, but I just kind of kept going back in and layering and the color came back the way that it was originally out of the pan. So I don't think it'll be an issue. Let's say you have like a wet concealer and you want to go ahead and pack on color. I don't think it'll be an issue. However, to keep it more so of an easier blend for you, you really probably don't even need to have wet concealer. You can actually set your concealer and then go in with the melt stacks, and they'll be just as pigmented as if you were to have used wet concealer, because that's the whole new thing now, I believe, where it's like people aren't setting their concealers because they want it to be tacky so that like it grabs a hold of the pigment. So that's why I'm just kind of stating that for you guys. Again, it is pretty penny, but I think it's really great. I found it again on sale. I would definitely repurchase this again. I would recommend it to anyone who is interested in adding this to their collection. They do have a more neutral couple of stacks. I'll include them within the video so that you kind of have an idea of like a couple of their stacks. They have bolder colors that are like more vibrant, that are not like the same color family. They have more of like the smokier version of like a smokier eye version and like a neutral version. So I'll show you those as well, just so that you just can have an idea of what to look forward to. And not all of the stacks come with 5. Some of them come with 4, just so that you know that. And so that's pretty much that. I really do hope that you enjoyed this. Would you purchase this? Leave the comments below because I'd love to read them. If you enjoyed this look, definitely give me a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and definitely hit the notification bell. That way you know every time that I release a new video, so you're not like missing out and you're in the know. Okay, so again, I love you guys. Thank you again for staying tuned and watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.